So, when you open up the book of Exodus, it's easy to just see it as ancient history, right? But chapter 1, it's actually the start of this incredible high-stakes drama. We're going to peel back the layers here and uncover this amazing pattern of conflict, of courage, and a promise from God that, as you'll see, no earthly power could ever hope to shut down.
And it all hinges on this one really chilling line. A new king comes to power who didn't know Joseph. Now, this is way more than just, political amnesia. It means the entire legacy of Joseph, the man who literally saved Egypt, is just gone, wiped clean. And for his people, the Israelites, this is an absolutely terrifying turn of events.
And the change was, wow, it was drastic. I mean, one minute the Israelites are these honored guests, protected residents living peacefully for generations. The next, they're suddenly seen as a national threat. All that gratitude Egypt had for Joseph, it's replaced with suspicion and fear. Their entire world is just violently flipped upside down.
So, what does this new Pharaoh do? Well, he's totally driven by fear. He's looking at the Israelites and thinking they're becoming too many and too mighty. So he comes up with this absolutely brutal plan, a plan that's going to turn Egypt into what the Bible famously calls the house of bondage.
Pharaoh's answer to this problem wasn't, say, cooperation or trying to integrate them. Nope, his solution was systematic oppression. His goal was really simple: afflict them, just crush their spirit, and control their population growth by using forced labor, basically to turn them into a full-blown slave nation. And the Bible uses some incredibly intense language to paint a picture of their reality. I mean, listen to these words. They were worked ruthlessly. Their service was bitter. It was non-stop, hard labor with mortar and brick. This was so much more than just a tough job. It was a system specifically designed to break them, body and soul. And that's exactly why Egypt gets this name, the House of Bondage. But what's really interesting is that this term grows to mean so much more than just a physical place. Throughout the rest of the Bible, it becomes this powerful symbol for a different kind of slavery, spiritual slavery to sin. A condition that needs a divine rescue.
Okay, but this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. You've got Pharaoh, literally the most powerful man on the planet, unleashing his master plan. But he's about to run headfirst into some totally unexpected resistance. What we're seeing here is a huge clash between Pharaoh's power and a promise God had made centuries before.
So, the big question is, right, did it work? Did this whole campaign of brutal, crushing oppression actually succeed in breaking the Israelites and stopping their growth?
No way. Not even close. In fact, in one of the Bible's greatest ironies, the exact opposite happened. The more Pharaoh tried to crush them, the more they multiplied and spread out. So why? Well, because Pharaoh wasn't just picking a fight with a group of people. He was trying to fight an unbreakable promise God made to Abraham, the promise to make his descendants into a great nation.
And this isn't just a one-off thing. This same pattern echoes all through history. There's a famous saying from the early church father Tertullian, "The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church." The idea is that persecution doesn't destroy God's people. A lot of the time, it actually purifies and strengthens them, because their survival ends up depending on God's power, not their own.
So as Israel's population keeps exploding, Pharaoh's fear just spirals out of control. And when slavery doesn't work, his plan takes a much, much darker turn. He gives a direct order to the Hebrew midwives, we even know their names, Shiphrah and Puah, to commit state-sanctioned murder. The command? Kill every single newborn baby boy.
I mean, could you imagine? These two women are suddenly facing an impossible choice. On one hand, you have the king, the most powerful man alive, telling them to kill innocent babies. On the other hand, you have the unspoken but very clear command from God to protect the vulnerable. It all boils down to one thing: who were they going to fear more?
And their choice was nothing short of heroic. The reason is spelled out for us in one absolutely crucial phrase: the midwives feared God. That one conviction, that fear, was bigger and more powerful than their fear of Pharaoh. It completely reordered their priorities, it gave them the incredible courage to defy a tyrant, and because they chose to protect life, they were ultimately honored by God himself.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second, because what's happening here in Egypt, this isn't just some isolated, random event. It's actually one battle in a much bigger, much older spiritual war, a war specifically targeting a promised deliverer.
Just look at this pattern. First, you have Pharaoh trying to kill all the baby boys. Fast forward a few centuries, and Queen Athaliah tries to wipe out the entire royal line of David. Then you get Haman, who plots the genocide of the entire Jewish people. And then it comes full circle. Another king, Herod, uses the exact same playbook as Pharaoh, ordering the murder of all the baby boys in Bethlehem to get rid of a prophesied new king. It's uncanny.
And that last example, the one with Herod, that brings us to the real point of this whole story. The entire narrative of Exodus, with Moses as the hero, it's all a giant signpost. It's pointing forward to a much, much greater deliverance and a much greater deliverer.
I mean, the parallel is just unmistakable, isn't it? Just like God protected the baby Moses from Pharaoh's death squad, he also protected the baby Jesus from Herod's massacre. In both stories, the tyrant's plan to take out God's chosen rescuer completely and utterly fails.
And this is what we mean when we talk about the greater Exodus. Moses, he led the first one, right? He freed his people from actual physical slavery in Egypt. But that incredible rescue was really just a shadow, a foreshadowing of what Christ would do. He's the one who accomplishes the greater Exodus, delivering all people who trust in him from that spiritual house of bondage to sin and death.
So, when we put it all together, what are the big takeaways from this chapter? Well, first, it's pretty clear that God's plans can't be stopped by any earthly king or empire. Second, we see that being faithful, sometimes you have to courageously resist injustice. Third, and this is a big one, we saw with the midwives, fearing God actually frees you from the fear of other people. And finally, protecting the vulnerable, that's a powerful act of faith that really honors God.
And all of that leaves us with this one central question. It's the same choice the midwives faced, and it echoes right down into our own lives today. When the pressures of the world and the call of God are pushing in opposite directions, this story forces us to ask ourselves, who or what do you really fear more?